You ever hear someone say you can eat more and lose weight, but you just want to roll your eyes and be like, yeah, okay, dude, whatever. Me too for the longest time, because I used to eat that way and nothing would happen. But then once I learned a little bit more of my macros, and then I also caught wind of Greg Doucette's volume eating style, the way he did things kept popping up in my feed, and a lot of people were raving about it. So naturally I had to see for myself, is this worth the hype? What's this all about? So I spent 48 hours eating just like Greg Doucette, and let's just say my fridge will never be the same. I'm Dr. Nate with Up Training, and I'm about to spill the beans, literally, maybe, figuratively, if I end up adding it to one of these recipes I'm about to show you, but I'm eating the first one here. But basically I'm going to take you through the science as to why this stuff works, show you 3 recipes, how to make them, and then also I've got a little special, meal plan guide that I've put together for male and female at the end here that I'll share and tell you how to get. So here's the deal. Greg's whole thing is about tricking your body into feeling full by eating low calorie, high volume foods. So it sounds kind of like magic because you're like tricking yourself, but it's really science. Your stomach has these stretch receptors. You can kind of think of them as like little triggers that go off that once the stomach expands to a certain amount, it sends a signal to your brain to let it know, okay, I'm full, I'm stretched, stop eating, tell the person to stop eating. But here's where it gets a little tricky. It's not just about what you eat. Probably felt stuff before after Thanksgiving. It's about the types of foods and the macros specifically that you eat to get to this high volume state without being in a lot of calories that causes you to gain weight. Like when I whipped up this French toast here, I had 4 pieces here and it was like 400 or 500 calories, and I'm full off of it. So it's kind of like eating the Thanksgiving dinner because you get the volume, but your pants fit after. So now we're gonna jump into the kitchen. We're gonna make French toast. I'm also gonna run you through a lunch or like a burrito bowl style thing, and then I'm also gonna do a dessert. But first, we gotta run to Walmart here and get all the supplies, and we're gonna come back and I'll meet you in the kitchen. All right, so we're back from the store. We basically got all our ingredients here. They're kind of messy because I cut here first and we got to redo it because I didn't have the mic on. So we got our egg whites. Get any kind you want. We've got our measuring cup, that's going to go with the egg whites. We've got our bowl that already has the cup of egg whites in it. So that's first. Then we got our bread that we're going to dip it in. Our cinnamon, our sugar-free sweetener, our sugar-free syrup actually that we're going to put on top, and then also our sugar-free sweetener that we're going to kind of mix with the cinnamon here to make like a nice cinnamon sugar powder for it all. But that's pretty much it. And then we've got our small plates and forks and things like that to kind of help us with our pace. And so we've got the pan heating up here in the background on like a medium, low, medium heat. We've got our olive oil spray. Definitely want to go with the olive oil. It's the best for you. Now for the easy part, or hopefully the easy part. And that's just dipping the toast in, putting it on the pan. First, we need to hit our pan, a little bit of, a few little spritzes of that. And we take our bread, literally just dip it in. I flip it, get both sides soaking wet. Boom, soak it up, onto the pan. Next one. We got 2 cups egg whites. And so once that's done cooking, obviously we'll do the last 2 pieces and then we're good to go. We let this simmer for a little bit and then we flip. All right, so we've got our bread on the pan. We're gonna make our cinnamon dusting. So literally I'm just pouring, eyeballing kind of a bunch of cinnamon in here. Boom, okay, good enough. If we need to make more, we'll make more, but that's all it is. Literally we're just combining the 2 things. It's this simple. Combining them in, then we can kind of swish them around. About half-half ratio is what I do. And we're going to sprinkle this on top once it's all done. And if you don't even want to do this step, you could literally just sprinkle the 2 on top. And we're also going to take a banana here and cut that up, and we're going to put that on top once this is all done. And that's meal 1. All right, so we've got the first couple pieces out already, and so here's kind of what they look like. Pretty good. I think what I'm going to do though is I'm going to layer the cinnamon in between them as they come out because I'm still waiting for the last 2 pieces to cook. So we're going to kind of layer the cinnamon a little bit and make sure they all have a good equal amount here. Let me get a little bit left for the last bit. That'll sit. That smells good already. Maybe we'll layer the banana. Probably just throw it all on top and just make it work. All right, and so the last two pieces are done. I just took my fork, kind of cut it up. I'm not super fancy with all of this stuff. I'll leave the fancy to the pro chefs. This is effective. We've got 5 slices. We're gonna put a little bit more, sprinkle it on top of our banana as well on top here. Layer this bit, and then add our cinnamon to taste, or our syrup to taste, and boom. And this is like 0 calories. You can really add as much as you want. That's it. All right, this next recipe is actually pretty simple too. As quickly as I can cook this block of ground beef is as fast as I'm gonna prep today and tomorrow's lunch, or second meal. And so all we're gonna do is literally just heat the pan, throw this on there with a little bit of olive oil spray, and then we've got some Southwest Chipotle seasoning that we're gonna throw on with it, and that's all we're gonna do for the meat. That simple. All right, so we've got our meat sitting here. We're just gonna throw on, whoop. As we drop the Chipotle seasoning, we're just gonna throw on our Chipotle seasoning here. Put a little on now, and we'll put a little more on later. All right, and so while that is browning up, basically we've got the last things to assemble our burrito bowl. We've got our low-carb wraps, and so when I say burrito bowl, we're gonna make a burrito, and then whatever doesn't fit, we're gonna eat as a bowl. So we've got our low-carb, carb counter wraps. These are 90 calories. Just for context, a Chipotle, wrap about this big is like 300 calories. We've got fat-free cheese. You could use the full fat if you wanted, but this is actually just all I had on hand, so that's what we're going with. I've got it's a bacon ranch crunch salad mix. We're gonna use half of this and then half tomorrow. I'm not using the dressing with it, so literally it's just lettuce with a little bit of mixed kind of chopped lettuce with a little bit of bacon, and then we've got cilantro lime rice, and they're kind of pre-made cups. We're gonna use a whole cup, but I'm gonna probably warm it up in a bowl because I just don't like the plastic. All right, so at this point, the mic cut out and died in the mid-cooking, so I'm hitting you with a voiceover instead. And so all I'm really telling you here is that I'm just putting the entire thing into a meal prep bowl here, and then we'll portion it out onto the wrap. And so the cool thing is that I'm going to put basically half the meat in, use this as my salad bowl. Once I eat it, then I'm going to put the other half of the beef in the pan in that bowl, and I'm going to store it for tomorrow. So now I'm literally using one bowl for my meal and my meal prep for tomorrow. And so now I've got my rice here. I'm just adding in. That was the plastic cup that you saw earlier. I put it in a ceramic bowl just because I didn't want to heat it up in the microwave in plastic. Try to limit that a little bit. And then I'm taking my fat-free cheese. Basically, I'm telling you here, I plan to have full fat cheese, but I realized when I got home that I actually didn't have any left in the fridge. So just dumping, as much as I want, pretty much of the fat-free cheese, a good portion, about a cup, half a cup or so, because I'm not too worried about the calories. And then I open the salad here and I realize, oh crap, there's dressing and all these other side things in it. That's how this has so many calories in it, because you look at the back and it's like 170 calories per serving, like 400 calories for the whole bag. And so basically I'm like, screw this. I'm just going to use the lettuce. And then I decided to just use the bacon and the crunchies that are included, but skip the dressing because that's where most of the calories are going to be found. And then I end up tracking like 2 pieces of bacon, I think, for the macros of this. And then we're on to the wrap here. I struggle a bit getting this first one out because they're kind of stuck together. So if you end up buying these, be careful with this. But I ripped the first one. I'm like, oh crap, I'm not saying this on camera, I'm trying to play it cool. Rip the first one. I'm like, well, okay, I guess we'll get another one. And then we're basically just going to give this whole thing a good mix. I want all the flavors mixed, sneak a little quick bite there. And then we're going to add this to the burrito. Basically, just kind of inspecting it, making sure it's mixed well. And then we're going to add this to the burrito bowl here. Or the burrito. We're going to basically add as much as we can, and then whatever does not fit into this wrap here, we're just going to eat as a bowl. So this is kind of a gigantic meal. You'll see we have a huge burrito here once this is all done. And so quick pro tip on how to wrap this stuff, because a lot of people struggle with this. I used to struggle myself with this. And so you're going to press it all into one side like they do at Chipotle. You're going to fold the sides in first, grab that side, roll it as much as you can, and then as you roll here, I'm pressing down towards the plate, kind of tuck it in the sides, and I'm pressing down, 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 down. It's going to roll it up tight. And as long as you can get one side in, boom. And so you can see the burrito, and then that's about how much we have left for the bowl. So we'll finish that off.
All right, so last meal here. It's nighttime.
Here.
I want something sweet, but we're still on a fat loss journey here. So we're going to be making a protein ice cream with our blender here. And basically just going to go through the ingredients here really quick. And so we've got our powdered peanut butter we're going to throw in because we're making a peanut butter brownie with some Oreo, which maybe some Oreo flavor. Potentially, maybe I just gave away the surprise ingredient, but I'll show you guys that. We've got our brownie protein powder. So protein powder, peanut butter powder. We got some salt, sugar-free sweetener as always. This is a kind of a niche ingredient. I used to be able to find this at Walmart. Recently, when I went to Walmart, I could not find it. But this is guar gum or xanthan gum. If you could find this in grocery stores, awesome. It's about $8 a bag, but this amount alone will last you for like hundreds of recipes. Tons of servings in this thing. And then we've got our sugar-free Jello. That's about it for the ingredients that are gonna go in. We've got our ice, about 1.5 trays of ice. We've got our magic secret toppings that I will show you here at the end once we finish making it. And I'm also going to get a little bit of either almond milk or really any milk, because we're not going to be using a lot. So whatever milk that you have available, works just fine.
Basically, for starters here, we're going to add all of our ice first.
All right, so we've added all our ice in, but what we're gonna do is a little pro tip. I'm gonna pulse it a few times to crush this really fine. This makes sure that you don't have weird ice chunks and stuff once you've finished making it. All right, so we've pulsed our ice. If you've noticed, I'm missing the flap on this. So I'm gonna be covering it with something probably because it's shooting all over my hand. But now from here, we're just gonna be adding all of our dry ingredients first, and I'm gonna get the milk and add it. So basically, 1.5 scoops of this. We'll do a 1/2 scoop of peanut butter because they're basically the same macros and same calories and protein. Basically, this powdered peanut butter is just protein powder. But the thing is, though, is with this powdered peanut butter, it's actually gonna thicken it up a little bit more like real peanut butter. And then we're gonna kind of eyeball some of this stuff. So, yeah, a little bit of salt, boom, a little bit of sugar-free sweetener. And then we probably could skip this. Don't really need a lot here. Just kind of sprinkle some in. And then we're gonna be adding our Jello mix. So you can weigh all this stuff out, but I've been doing this so long, you just kind of eyeball it. This, you're gonna do about 20 grams or so. Kind of just eyeball that a good amount. If you want it more thick, this is the stuff that's gonna thicken it up quite a bit. Add more of this stuff. I would go with the Jello mix first, especially because it's got the flavor. And then this, I'd go very light on the guar gum. And so with the guar gum, very simple. Very lightly, little bit of this stuff, that's it. All right, so we've got our milk and we're adding just a little bit to basically each corner here. Just a teeny little, whoop, spin it. That might even be too much. But basically once that's in, quick shake to kind of get the ice and stuff off the bottom. And we're gonna throw it in the blender. And while it's doing its thing, we're gonna clean up. So actually, probably need to add just a little more. All right, and that's pretty much ready. So now we have got our, ice cream base, pretty dang thick, right? Like it's not even gonna come out, like even if we tip it over, pretty thick. Now for our goodies. Get your plastic bag, and we've got our chocolate rice cakes and Oreo Thins. So what we're gonna do is get like 4 of these out. And fuck it, we'll do 5. because there's 5 left in the sleeve. We're just crushing it all up. Taking 4 Oreo thins. Here is you can literally just add it to the blender. You can pull the little middle piece out, you know, like this. So you just add all this to the blender and mix it all up, but I don't like reaching deep into the blender like that, and so I'm just gonna get a bowl and add it all to that. And so I've got myself a nice big bowl here. Now you're gonna be able to see how much this actually is. I'm gonna layer this on. So we got that bit, boom. So now we have this gigantic bowl of chocolate brownie protein Oreo, or Oreo Pro, whatever you want to call it. Big smoothie bowl, you know, soft serve ice cream type bowl that we get to eat. And I tell you what, there's no way you're not full off of this. It is gigantic, but as it melts, it'll, you know, won't fill up your stomach as much as it looks like.
So I'm actually recording this about a week later because I've been eating like this for a week because I forgot how much I liked it. This style of eating is what helped me lose about 30 pounds, you know, post college football, when I wanted to bring down some of that weight that I had on. And so it kind of reminded me, you know, I'm not even tempted to eat any bad food because it's basically junk food. You know, I'm having French toast and Chipotle burrito bowls and ice cream and stuff, and it's not even that big of a deal. I really actually started to look forward to these meals. One, the combo of protein, fiber, and sheer volume just kept me full. And because of this, didn't really have any cravings for snacks because I was just so full for hours. So what are the key takeaways basically? Volume matters, especially if you're someone who has a bigger appetite or you find yourself getting hungry when you've tried diets in the past. But it matters what you eat, not just eating a lot of healthy food, because you can overdo that if the macros and the types of foods that you're consuming are not right. If you nail that, you can stay full and still eat a lot. 2, protein is your secret weapon. So adding it and secretly combining it into this bread here, so I'm now having carbs, protein, and French toast, is one of the awesome ways. 3, the right combo when we talk about macros of fiber, water, protein. A lot of that stuff has a ton of volume with very low calories. Will keep you full for hours, which leads me to the last one. It's most of your hunger is actually in your head, and a lot of times you're not even really hungry. And so for multiple reasons, maybe you're dehydrated and you don't have a proper electrolyte imbalance, you haven't had enough water, bored, maybe you're feeling bad. What happens is when you eat, especially sugary or high fat, high calorie, really satiating food, it releases a lot of dopamine and feel good hormones in your body. And so this can actually lead your brain to wanting to eat when you're not actually hungry. Bottom line, if you have a big appetite and you want to eat big and feel full and still crush your goals, volume eating might be your new best friend. And so what I've done here is I've actually created a meal plan just like this video for the average man and the average woman. It's got a grocery list and it's got the exact portions and how to make every single recipe A to Z on it for you. And all you've got to do is comment meal plan below and I'll get it sent over to you. But anyways, you know, thanks for tuning in to this video. I'll see you guys in the next.